we're going to move up into the area of the heart, the area of real power. The heart is the balancer. We're halfway up. We have 3 below and 3 above the heart. The heart, being the balancer, is indicatory of its position of power. The heart has true, unlimited power. So whatever we do with this, let's invoke caring. I don't have a better word than that right now, but if we're going to invoke caring, that will invoke power. Now, I don't mean caring as in concern. Oh, I'm concerned about the results. That takes us in a completely different area. I'm talking about caring as if I remember when the kittens were born, or my little grandbaby. There's not an area of, like, romance. There's an area of caring. It's not like I'm concerned, oh, he's going to grow up in a terrible way. There's caring. Understand caring. Explore caring. It's not passion. It's not romance. It's caring. It's not concern. It's caring. So if we're going to incorporate caring into this, literally, one of the things that I've noticed is I cannot have a coaching relationship with someone unless we're functioning at this level. No matter where it starts. I mean, it'll start somewhere, but it either very quickly moves into this level or it falls off. This level is where the power is. This level, this is what we use this with all the persuasion and neurolinguistic stuff that we use here. And if we're working with non-local, this is the area where we have to incorporate this aspect of caring. Care about your clients. Care about your prospects. Don't just be concerned about, well, if I do that to them, this is what's going to happen to me. Honest to goodness, care about them. In a lot of the coaching sessions that we work here, again, there's remote influence going on. I can just guarantee that. Okay, this is a given. And a lot of you pick up on that. And it's not that I'm influencing you to do things or send me more money or any voodoo like that. I care about you and what you do with this. That opens up some huge doors and allows us to do neat things. Because we could keep it all impersonal. Well, we could make it data, or we could connect on the level of the heart. The level of the heart, the area of caring, is where there's tremendous balance because there's tremendous power because of the balance. Again, we're halfway up right now. We've covered the bottom 3. When we get to the heart, we go from the heart to the upper 3. The heart, in the area of the caring, allows us to explore and to experience a loving vastness. And I've got no better words to use than that. So just incorporate this in. I have to stay a little vague here, because there really aren't words for this. And incorporate this in. The area of the throat has to do with mutual intent and expression. Now, we can look at this at a very low-level way. It is my intention to sell my car, ethically. And it's somebody else's intention to buy a car. It's my intention to get the most I can out of it. It's his intention to get it at the least, at the lowest price possible. Now, if we work our way up through what we've done so far, and we go a little bit deeper than this, as human beings, we are creation being unfolded. We evolve. We desire to be more of what we are. This desire of wanting to be more of what we are, to experience more of what we are, shows up in our endless pursuit of stuff that's out there. Whether it be money, conquest, women, houses, cars. We have this insatiable nature to grow. If we apply it to ourselves and understand this, that it is the nature of human consciousness to evolve. It is our nature to want to experience more connectedness. It is our nature to want to experience more nurturing. It is our nature to want to experience more teamwork. It is our nature to experience more caring with one another. It is the nature of human beings. It is our common intent to mutually grow and evolve. Now, this doesn't mean you let people take advantage of you. It also doesn't mean that you take advantage of them, because that takes us the whole way back to the beginning here. The mutual intention of humans is to grow and to evolve, to become more prosperous together. Look at civilization. It has its peaks and its valleys, but we are on a continuous progress in a very specific direction. And you can notice this. If you want to play with this and notice this, part of our mutual intent. How many people when you talk to people, they want to be happier. They want to be healthier. They want to have deeper conversations, deeper relationships with one another. These are common things I hear from everyone. Now, if we're going to head in that direction, again, the area of the throat has to do with intention, especially spoken intention. A lot of people don't talk like this. Now here's a thought for you. I bump into a friend of mine on a Friday. His name is Chuck. And we have the, hey, how you doing? Yeah, the buckos. Yep. Nice to see you, man. Take care. Then his mom drops over dead. Then I see him Saturday at the funeral home. It's not, hey, how you doing? Hey, how about the buckos? It's a different level of conversation. It's taken deeper because of trauma. Part of what I offer to you here is how do we have deeper connection with one another without trauma, without taking advantage of one another, without selfishness. The mutual intention of human beings is to grow, to evolve, to experience more pleasure, more prosperity. If we're going to play with this technology, again, we walk into the cell situation. Before we even get there, we have the intention of connecting. We notice the shift in the breath. We touch appropriately, and we notice what shows up. We're not going to notice everything, but the more you play with this, the more you're going to notice. I'll be on the phone with people, and I go, chicken. Like, what? Yeah, I don't know, nothing. I'm just, funny thing, John, I'm going to cook chicken in a while for my wife. I said, really? Fascinating. It's not because I'm psychic, but it's because we take the time to connect, to evolve, to grow. Again, if you take heart cells and put them in a petri dish close to one another, individual heart cells, they'll gradually start to beat in synchronization, in time with one another. Neat. If we're going to talk about mutual intention, whatever you do with this is very simple. That's one of the reasons why we didn't bother releasing it before. And now we feel it's time to. Because if we're going to play with this is very simple and yet very powerful if we explore our mutualness with intention. Next theory of the third eye. The third eye is about discernment. The more tools you have in your tool belt, the more temptations you have. Plain and simple. I mean, it's easy to be broke and say, you know what, if I had a ton of money, I'd save the world. Yep, if I had the money, that's what I'd do. Well, make the money and see what you do. When people find out that I'm in neurolinguistic programming, one of the things that people do is they get very fascinated. Or they go, oh, no, that's terrible stuff. Yeah, why? Tell me why. I'm curious. I want to know. And it's because of the way that they perceive people using this. Maybe even themselves. Again, when you're doing this, people call me on the phone. I don't manipulate them into buying lots of things and all that stuff. If I got a product that I think will work with them, I'll tell them, hey, boom. If there's a book I think they ought to read, I'll tell them. If there's a little exercise that I can point them towards, we do that. And if a product fits, I'll tell them, you know what, save your pennies and get this. Just my thought. And do this too in the meantime. The whole approach with this, what we want to notice with the third eye, is we want to develop the discernment with our own intent. Because it's easy for us to lie to ourselves. Oh, I'm a swell guy. I've never done anything wrong. I'd never, ever. Again, when it comes down to doing what I do, I notice on a daily basis, on an instant-by-instant basis, where's the temptation at? I approach things for the highest good, but I also notice where temptation shows up. Because they do. If you notice the temptations as they show up, they're not going to blindside you. So you're driving down the street, and it's like, ooh, man, if I could... Okay, we noticed it. Cool. Time to move on. Notice the discernment as you play with any techniques. And notice your discernment as you play with these ones. When you're working your way up through all the distinctions that we've layered in so far with the different keys, this key has to deal with noticing exactly what your intent really is. What will happen if it does work? What will happen if it doesn't? What will happen if I get caught? When I was working with... I was teaching a small group of people some of this type of stuff about 7 years ago. And we were working with this. The one person said, well, how do you become so psychic? I say, first of all, I'm not psychic. Second of all, I don't close doors. If we barricade ourselves in a room, we can't see what's outside. The more I have to hide, the more that will be hidden from me. And the more open that I am, the more honest I am, the more that is available to me. So if we're playing with this stuff, be open and honest with your temptations. You don't necessarily have to go tell the world about them, but just be open and honest with you. Because if you're open on a layer, that moves you a little bit forward. Then you may notice something else down the road. And then you may notice something else down the road. This has to do with chunk sizes. This has to deal with material. This has to do with everything. Take the time to develop discernment as far as what your actual true intentions and desires are. That's the key involving the third eye. And so I'm willing to play with you with this and offer it to you as a tool to play with aggressively. If you play with this aggressively over time, and in time, one of the things that you're going to notice is that this is happening all the time. People are doing this all the time. We go back to the example where the girl primps, touches her hair. Is she really touching her hair? Or is there an intention outside of consciousness to touch appropriately? We're so darn interconnected. The crown has to end at the beginning, but with a slightly different focus. The area of the crown has to do with just being, noticing that this is happening all the time. One of the things that I've noticed from exploring this stuff as aggressively as we have here is that the techniques and the skills and the stuff show up when they need to show up. There's a learning curve where you go out there and you decide I'm going to practice anchoring for the next 15 minutes at Walmart. And we still do stuff like that, just to discover what's possible, to discover new ways to teach and demonstrate this stuff. And yet the most powerful thing that I can demonstrate to you, especially if you come in for training, is that this stuff just shows up when it shows up. Oftentimes I'll do things because they need to be done, but at some point during the 3 days, the training shifts, and literally, I'll say, "Did you notice that?" And I'll say, "Yeah, this is what you did." And I have to agree, but I also have to admit that isn't what happened. I agree because, yeah, that is what happened. I disagree because I didn't do it. It just shows up. When it's time for us to practice anchoring and go the whole way through a certain model, boom, we do that. Because I met one fellow who came in, and his anchoring, every time he anchored something, he'd go through an anchor in the state, and then he'd enter into a state of, oh, I don't want to manipulate them, that's wrong. And I built it into everything that he did. And I get to notice that and model my way through it with them, so they can let go of that. Because it is okay to work with this stuff. It's okay to play with this stuff, because once you do it consciously, you can notice whenever you meet someone who's a vampire, and they're out there. You can go out there and, again, find where they fit in this little chart. You can meet the people that will try to suck the life out of everything. And you can meet the manipulators that will try, consciously or unconsciously, to set people up around them to fall. And as far as I can tell, it's your obligation, it's your duty, and it's your opportunity, when you have these tools, to play with them and help people model through new and exciting potentials, new and exciting futures, new and exciting ways to interface with reality through the present moment. So when we examine the area of the crown, we notice that it's all about being. It's all happening spontaneously. We can do things with deliberation, and we can notice that they're happening spontaneously as well. There's a balance here, which means we don't have to save the planet. But being aware of these distinctions, and having had played with them, and playing with them again and again when it doesn't matter, will allow them to show up and to make change when it does. So as we close up this area, this aspect of training that we call the Shadow Scout remote influence skills, I ask for you to again to remember the most basic portion of this, the 6 minutes a day of noticing your breathing, the 6 minutes a day of noticing your breath. And in case you didn't catch that before, those are two different things. 6 minutes a day of noticing your breathing, and 6 minutes a day of noticing your breath. Play with this little wee method of doing things, and notice the data that shows up. Next in the series of this that we'll be releasing will probably be the Shadow Scout mind attack methods, which primarily have to do with the area around the eyes. The area around the eyes, the third eye, has to do with discernment. And we mention that here because there are 8 primary ways of noticing when people are lying, including you, so that we can experience more discernment and more truth. For now, play with what you have, and discover what you are, and who you are, and how interconnected we all are through this. Again, I thank you for your time. My name is John Wingert. You can reach me at 724-963-1755. And we've got our websites, johnwingert.com, and about 1 billion more. Take care.